profile of that type of water heater. This is a standalone separate one. We also had some other different designs over the years. And we ended up moving over to New Jersey for a little while. And then we moved to Providence, I believe in 26, 27, right around that point there. Also when we started doing manufacturing, because there was a lot of manufacturing in Rhode Island, in Pawtucket. There was a lot of businesses up that way. So we were able to get some of that cast steel, cast iron, things like that, and whatnot for making these Taco heaters as they became known. And they became so wildly popular because when you stop thinking about back in the early 20s, all right, not the 2020s, the early 1920s, you know, it was a lot different. Meaning hot water, you didn't have a lot of hot water in your house. So so that became so popular that we ended up changing the name of the company from the Thermal Appliance Company to the Taco Heaters Incorporated Company. So, and there it is. We were in Providence, not where we are now. We were in Providence at that point. As you can see that small building there in 1928 when we changed the name of the company. And when we changed the name of that company, it was just natural for people to pronounce it Taco and not Taco because burritos were just not that popular in Providence in 1928. All right, so that's how it became known as Taco at that point. And at that point also, we started to expand our line because the plumbing business and the plumbing industry was very, very small. Yes, people had cold water being delivered, but they didn't have hot water. So as you're delivering hot water out there through this heat exchanger where you had steam on one side and cold water going through the other, the temperature that you had coming out of your faucet was freaking hot. There were no codes. There were not really any codes back then. So we developed that mixing valve in 1929 to help temper that water down. So so when you think about Taco, you say the word Taco today, everybody right away goes right to the world of hydronics. But we got our start in plumbing. So as we're growing, as the company's going, all right, 1930s, we start Taco Canada. So we're up there in Canada. And we have our own office up that way in Toronto. John Hazen White, so Elwood's son, then joins the company in 1936, all right, and is working there for a few years. And now all of a sudden that Taco heaters, that package, it just starts to explode when you start seeing that water heater and that mixing valve together. And I mean, it became so popular. It was in the Sears and Roebuck catalog and everything like that out there that people can get their hands on this water heater combination to have domestic hot water in your homes. Then unfortunately the 40s come along and Elwood passes away. John then and takes over the company itself, all right, in 1942. As we keep going on and marching down the decades there, 1942, as many of us know, World War II breaks out. And if you were a manufacturer in the United States and you wanted to still continue to make product, you had to convert a part of your shop over to help the war effort. And so being in New England, where there's a lot of shipbuilding around, it was easy for us to get involved. So we started off making gun mounts for the Navy and for a lot of the fighter planes and the ships that were going on out there as well, which also started to lend us more towards some heat exchangers also being built on the ships themselves. And we did such a good job in manufacturing and how we do our manufacturing that we got awarded the Army Navy E Award. All right, so so that's very prestigious. Not many companies get this award that work with the government. Then in the 50s, all right, Providence is getting a little too small. We're starting to get bigger and bigger, and we moved to Cranston, Rhode Island, which is a couple of miles away, not too far away. And we purchased an old building that was called the United Trolley Company. And we converted that into our manufacturing and warehouse. And it is still today the Taco Global headquarters. So if anybody that's been there before, yes, it looks a little bit different than it does there, but that tower is still there. All right, that's the main entrance into the building itself. And that clock tower is still there. We have had a couple of additions put onto the building since then. So we moved into that building in 1954. And as we start moving along, then we start getting a little bit more involved in hydronics. And in this late 50s, we come out with the first wet rotor circulator that we called the Perfecta. All right, so you'll see a little picture of it there, one of the ads that we had out there. And if anybody ever worked with a Perfecta circulator, it was kind of a big thing, right? That was a really big circulator. Sorry,
it was heavy.
What's that?
It was heavy.
It was heavy. Yes, I've got a
It
couple.
still
Don't
is
drop it
heavy.
on your foot.
We've got one in the
Heavy,
library. I've
heavy,
seen that bad boy.
Yes, I got one in my toolbox as well. Yep.
It's perfect for other things now, like if you had to dismantle
So-
someone breaking into your house. See
Yeah.
if you can lift it. Good luck.
And if anybody has any questions as you're going through, make sure you ask them through the GoToWebinar. If you're doing anything on LinkedIn and also on Facebook here too, I know there's a few people watching here as well. Type anything in there. Let us know what's going on. We're not going to do a question answer period. You got a question, you got a comment, drop it right away. John loves to find ways to interrupt me when I'm talking, and you're just giving him an excuse at that point. So
That's not necessarily true, Dave.
that you don't love interrupting me.
No, I do love it. It's just that I don't. Never mind. I was trying. I was striving for irony. Clearly, it didn't work.
Yeah, I didn't catch on to it. I'm good there. Yeah. So anyway, so the Perfecta comes out 1958. That was our wet rotor circulators for the 50s and 60s. All right. Perfecta comes out 1958. That was our
Whoops.
wet rotor.
Whoa, we hear you again, Dave.
Yeah, no, yep. Sorry, I was pulling up the Facebook before so I can monitor things and automatically sound came back. So then in the 60s, we tried to expand Taco into Europe, and we started off a company that into Europe, as you can see here. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that right now. Taco Hunzinken and Zurich, which we ended up selling
Bless you,
about a dozen years later. What was that?
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. We sold that company off about a dozen years later to the Guinness Group, and they changed the name of it to Taco Nova. So that was in the 60s, but that operated as our arm into the European market. Whoops. Sorry. Anyways, I got to get rid of that. Okay. And then we changed to Taco Inc. We dropped the heaters portion of it because now we're just starting to do a lot more. We're not just that water heater anymore. Now we're getting into circulators and a lot of other components out there. Now we're getting into bigger circulators. So we introduced what we call our 1600 series circulators, which we still do today. Three-piece circulator, a little bit different than the 110s three-piece because this one also had a cartridge design behind it. And kind of matched what that Perfecta could do with, say, a cartridge, but now this was getting into higher flow systems out there with our 1600 series circulators. And then in the early 70s, the 007 comes out.
Woohoo.
So the 1971 was the first one that we came out with. It looks a lot different than what you see here in this photo. That one in 1971 was a right-angled circulator. It was an OEM. It was a custom-made circulator. But in 1974, we made the flange circulator. All right, as that 007. So that performance, as we recognize it, that's when we started making that 007 out there.
Yeah,
And
it
this
really
one here, you see here, this was a version of it in the late 70s. Kind of hard to find any of the really old stuff out there that is still somewhat usable. So if anybody out there ever runs into some old Taco stuff, do not hesitate to contact me. We'd love to get our hands on it. But this one here, the picture that you see here, I've seen this one upstairs in our museum. This was manufactured, I think, around 1978 or so. Not a lot changed, but it was about a 1978 edition. We don't have anything from the 74 edition, so to speak.
I got to tell you, I was installing these when I was in high school, and you can't. And for anybody out there who goes back that far, you know how different and unique this was. This was a really small little wet rotor circulator. When we were installing, B&G 100s, Taco 110s, the Red Baron was a huge seller, very common circulator back then. And now all of a sudden they're giving us this little itty bitty thing. And we're looking at it, go, all right, that's going to work fine. I was 15. I didn't know any better. maybe still don't. They hand, my dad handed it to me, said stick it on that boiler, and off it went. But it's just put yourself back in that time frame. This was freaking revolutionary back in 1975.
Definitely. Yep. Very, very different than what everybody was using out there. I mean, the only thing that was closer to it was the Perfecta, right? So
Right.
that was what everybody, and even then that was small and pocketed as you were in the industry itself. All right, so let's jump into the 80s, where our current owner of the company, John Hazen White Jr., starts and joins the company itself. And then we get involved into the commercial side of circulators. So we were already growing with that heat exchanger side and doing big pumps and I mean, I'm sorry, bigger heat exchangers than the small Taco heater that we had for small water heating purposes. But then we started getting involved into bigger heat exchangers, shell and tube style heat exchangers. Obviously, with shipbuilding, shell and tube is a big deal. But then we started getting involved in the larger circulators, like you see here. And then we start. We outgrew the trolley car facility for those bigger tanks. Now we're starting to roll tanks, making expansion tanks and storage tanks and air elimination, as well as the big pumps. So then we move into a building in Fall River. Well, we don't move. We open a new building in Fall River, Massachusetts, where now we do the fabricated products there. And even now, this is an old photo here where we just actually more or less tore down 3 buildings and built one big one up now. And then we started, as you could see here, into the 90s. We jump into and we start doing training classes. And most of that training was for employees. We did some customers, we did some reps, but we started the TLC, and the TLC was really geared towards customers. Really geared towards the employees at Taco. So it was about a 20 by 20 room in the middle of the building, where we did some training classes. I remember going to a training class myself there one day. I don't know if John, you remember me hobbling in there with a broken leg one day, because I wanted to learn some new software that you guys were coming out with. So I'm like, oh, I'm sitting at home, I can't do anything right now, and broke a leg. So I hobbled my way to Rhode Island and sat in that little training room, I remember, for a couple of days. As we keep on moving along, 1997. All right, we buy a small company called Sweet Controls based out of Connecticut. The biggest thing about Sweet Controls, everybody was used to single zone relays, single pump relays that were out there. And Sweet Controls was one of those guys. He started a small company from his garage and made a multi-pump panel as well as a multi-zone panel with zone valves. Most of the time, everybody that used to do any type of zone valve before then just used a 40 VA transformer and wired a few wire nuts together with a thermostat in between it. And so Sweet Controls had something really unique. So we purchased that company in 97 and we exploded with it after that. And also then John Hazen White Jr. then becomes president and CEO of Taco. All right, so now he's starting to run the show shortly thereafter. Unfortunately, his father passes away in 2001. And here we are in those 2000s, early 2000s, towards the later 29, 28, 2008 or so, we come out with the Zone Sentry. So the Zone Sentry zone valve, people know that today, very, very powerful zone valve that we have out there in so many different configurations. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Question comes in, I see, yes, Dave Sweet Controls, exactly right. And he was the owner of that company, and we purchased that company from him, and then he came on board and worked at Taco for the next 30 years. So, yep. All right, let's get a little bit closer. Then 2010s, we open up a brand new training center. All right, in 2012, we call it the IDC, the Innovation and Development Center. So you can see here the picture has changed just a little bit. So what was a parking lot / turnstiles before we purchased it, now is our new training center there. 2012 also happens to be the year that I started, so they built that whole building just for me.
Well, we've been through this before.
They opened the building a month after I started. It had to be for me. That's all I'm saying.
All right, continue
I'm gonna go with
on.
it.
I'm not going to
sticking
argue
it.
with you. Continue
I'm
on.
sticking with it. Yes, I'm sticking with it. Yep. And then we also get involved in larger vertical turbine pumps that you'll see here. A company called Hydroflow was a perfect blend into Taco and what we were doing. So Hydroflow's vertical turbines, mostly for the agricultural and mining business. So we purchased that company as well as a stainless steel foundry that was part of Hydroflow at the same time. So they came on board with us. Now we're starting to expand. So when I started at Taco in 2012, we were a North American manufacturer based in Rhode Island. Now all of a sudden we become an international company based in Rhode Island. So now we start, we all acquire Ascol Say, which is an ECM circulator manufacturer in Europe. We had already partnered with them for a few years, and now we're making circulators to service the European market as well as the North American market as well. So that was in 2015. We were already working with Ascol for a few years before we purchased the company itself. And towards the very end of it, wow, all of a sudden we get a second E award from the Department of Commerce, which is just really, really prestigious to get 2 E awards. That was something really different out there. And then we developed the 007E. All right, the 007E comes out. So now we're just about at its 10-year anniversary for that circulator as we're growing. And we bring Taco Nova back into the fold at Taco. So Taco Nova was still operating in Europe itself, still owned by the Guinness Group. And we ended up purchasing it back into the fold at Taco itself. So now that's our European arm for circulators and hydronics and everything like that going on back in 2017. And now we have also started to reach a point in the company where we're just starting to get really big, and we started to look around to start to grow the company, and we bring on Cheryl. Cheryl Merchant becomes president and now CEO of the company as well. Johnny is still chairman of the board, and Cheryl has brought on a whole nother level of expertise here at Taco as we are growing into the next century, and of course also on the manufacturing side. And she has brought so much and so much wealth of knowledge into the manufacturing side here at Taco itself. So been a really interesting ride over the last 105 years now, 104 years, right? No, I'm getting the numbers wrong.
Close enough, yeah. But I'll tell you this:
105 years now, yeah.
105.
over the last 5 years, the size of Taco has in fact doubled.
Yes.
That's kind of the remarkable thing that's happened. We're going along, and in the last 5 years, we've actually doubled in size, doubled in sales, doubled in volume, and that's thanks to you guys out there too listening. We do appreciate that, and that confidence that you show in us. So we do appreciate that. And this company's going places. That's kind of the exciting thing. It's a 105-year-old company with a bullet. It's going places, man.
It is. It's been amazing since I've been here in just over a dozen years being here. So. So here's a quick little snapshot of where we're located, and we have so much more expansion happening right now across. So you'll see Cranston, Rhode Island, Fall River sitting up here. Here's our Toronto office, just outside of Toronto in Milton, Ontario. And you'll also see a couple other spots where we're doing some of our vertical turbine manufacturing. So we were in Brownfield, Texas. We just opened up this brand new facility in Lubbock, Texas right now, where we're doing a lot of manufacturing out there. Vertical turbine manufacturing as well happening out in California. And then you'll see everything about Taco Nova over in Europe, as well as you'll see that PIFA, that stainless steel foundry that we have in Vietnam as well. So, and there's a lot of growth happening with Taco right now as we start looking across the globe. It's been amazing on what's been happening for the last bunch of years or so.
All right, we've just opened up actually 2 new facilities in the Czech Republic to manufacture circulators. The business
right,
out there,
right.
the European business is booming.
Yeah, I don't have that listed here either. Yeah, that's
right. The Czech Republic, new facilities there to handle the European market, which is exploding for us. We're now in also opened up offices in the UK, which is pretty cool. We've almost doubled the size of our facility in Fall River just this year.
Oh yeah.
For our welded commercial product.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah, close to doubling that size, and we're already at capacity there. So just think again,
Mhm.
things are going, man. Things are going. All right. Cool. Got a couple questions that came in during this. One was, let's see, will the replay be void of the drop signal that there has been occurring? That one comes from Dwight. I don't know. That's a good question. It'll be a recording of the session, Dwight, and how it comes out is how it comes out, I guess. Hopefully it will. Hopefully, if you've had any drops in signal on your end, it didn't happen on the recording end. So hopefully that won't be there.
Yep. Well, 23 hours for those of you that logged in to go to webinar for this tonight. In 23 hours time, you will get an email from us with a link to this recording as well. So I guess I'll check it out myself tomorrow morning.
When we were talking about 007s, Bob O'Brien actually chimed in. He said the very first one he installed backwards. Didn't know about the arrow. Hey, we're all rookies, man. I'm sure I did the same dumb thing too. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right,
Yeah.
so that's just that's a little bit of the history on Takeo. So just wanted to throw that out to everybody there. I thought it was, usually when we do some of these training classes and webinars, we'll have little snippets here and there, but I felt it was deserving of its own separate entity just to talk about the history of Takeo out there, because it is an interesting story as we look through it and watch it and as we grow itself. And it's really interesting because in my opinion, most manufacturers today don't keep broadening their manufacturing base. They start streamlining and focusing on one, maybe two items, where we actually keep on adding more and more to our manufacturing and what we make here at Takeo. So I find that very, very different than everybody else out there. And so we're always adding more new items coming out there. So. So anyway, so that's a little bit of the history on Takeo there, but I also want to show you one other aspect on what we've been putting together here for our Takeo After Dark Live. And I know we the beginning part, we did spend a little bit of time trying to work through some things. So we're getting close to our 1 hour time. Not that we have to limit ourselves. That's the beauty of Takeo After Dark, because dude, it's after dark. Whatever happens, happens. All right. So but what I do want to bring up is something that we've been talking about for a while here, and it's a little program that Christina is spearheading and she's in charge of too, as well as and bringing it on board here, and what we call Picks from the Field. And Picks from the Field is something that we want to be able to showcase and applaud the work of you guys that are out there that are putting our stuff in. So we want to be able to share that out with everybody as well. So a few things that we're working on with it, right? So we want to see your work. We want to see your installs, and we're going to showcase them on our social media pages, but we also want to talk about them here too at the same time during our Takeo After Dark Lives. All right, so let's share those installs. So you'll see that QR code here on the screen. If you can take that QR code, if you want to submit some photos, some job sites, before and afters are going to be awesome. We'd love to see some before and afters. We'd even love to see some of the stuff that you guys are walking in on that just makes your eyes hurt. And sometimes your ears bleed when you work into that boiler room, right? So share some of those with us as well if you can, and try to hide the names of the innocent, so to speak, or the guilty, however you want to look at it, on whoever did the work before you got there, right? So we just want to showcase your projects and your skill set that you have out there. At the same time, if you get submitted and you bring some stuff into it, we're also going to get you 500 bonus points from Contractor Rewards. And if you're not familiar with Contractor Rewards, it's a reward program that we've been working with for the last couple of years to reward you for Takeo purchases. So if you're not familiar with Contractor Rewards, give any one of us a call, contact us, whatever, and we'll make sure we get you that straight up information, what you're looking for to sign up and make sure you get some points for your purchases out there. And here you get an automatic 500 points just for submitting some photos to us. Now, right now, the official launch isn't until August 1st, so we're a couple weeks or a week earlier, so a week and a half early before then. So if you've got any projects right now, you guys are first run, right? So anybody that's joined us, watching us now, You don't know anything, nobody else knows about this unless they're online with us right now. So you've
That's
got that
fact.
head start, right?
Can I jump in?
Most definitely.
I'm gonna do it anyway, but I just wanted to mention a couple of things. So guys, anybody that submits your photos and stuff through the form, you're automatically going to get those bonus points. So they will be emailed to you. You're going to get a special code. It's really easy to sign up. Just filling out a form. We'll take you right to the site at Contractor Rewards. If you're not already signed up, fill it out. If you are signed up, just put the new bonus code in there, and boom, 500 points to your account. So it's really a great thing. And just a little history picks from the field. We actually have been doing for a while, and we kind of slowed down on getting submissions. So we're really trying to kick this off. So would love to feature your work and really want to honor all the stuff that you all are doing for the field and for the trade, and bringing that support back. And then, just one other thing is, since we're talking about history and all of those great facts that, I don't know as much about these things. I know enough to be dangerous, but I'm not an expert like the gentleman on this call. But John, one thing we forgot to mention is the new Water Street facility too in Fall River.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that because I had something to add that I normally don't. So I feel kind of cool about that. But back to picks from the field, that please submit. You guys are first to get this. We're not announcing this any other way until next Friday, August 1st on social. So that's when we're really kicking off the campaign. So you have a unique opportunity here to get yours in first and get featured first. So we will be featuring these on all of our socials. If you have social handles on any of the networks that we're on, please put those in the form so we can share and tag you and really highlight your work. And if you guys need anything from TACO at all, just feel free to reach out so we can help you with anything that you might need for any projects, any questions, concerns. We've got a great team. We're very responsive, which is one of the things that helps us stand out amongst our competitors, is we will get back to you.
Excellent. We just had Eric Lyman from Lubbock, Texas. He's in Brownfield, but he works at the Lubbock, Texas, and he just says he's the lead installer, the lead assembler there. So Eric, thanks for joining us, man. That's awesome. How's it been out there? I came to the grand opening last year, so I haven't been back to the Lubbock office in quite a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing it in the future, because I know that you guys have done some changes there and adding some really cool stuff at the Lubbock, Texas office. So that's pretty cool. So thanks for joining us, brother. All right,
let's see what you got here, Dave.
Yeah, looking at sharing a couple of pictures. Now, this was
this.
a project that we had shared last year from Picks from the Field. And this is from a contractor, Twin Peaks Plumbing and Hydronics, and they are based in Trinidad, Colorado. And this was just a really, really interesting project as you look here, as we started to review it. And John and I were looking at this the other day, and it was just, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because it was kind of a lot of stuff going on the screen itself, but when you really stopped and dove into it, then we were able to see a little bit more and starting to learn what was going on and why they did what they did. So it was very interesting out there. So
yeah, what do you guys think of this? I'm sorry, I stepped all over you, Dave. I'm sorry, man.
It's your birthday. You can do whatever you want on your birthday.
Ooh, that's true. No, go ahead, Dave. Well, Dave, now that you've braced yourself with the shot, see, I drive Dave to drink. Not too many people know this.
I'm surprised he can swallow with that choker on, but he did it.
I do drive Dave.
I'm going to take a break now, actually. I need some more. My glass is getting empty.
He's going to go cry in the corner. I'm teasing him.
We want to just hear what you guys think about this stuff too, about the, because one thing we've noticed, some Facebook groups and things like that, there's nothing I think people like more than to pick apart somebody else's work. And I think sometimes it gets a little out of control and nitpicky. When Dave and I first looked at this, we were looking at it, and man, that piping under the circulators just looks like a hornet's nest. And then we realized like a lot of it was the reflection in the diamond plate.
Oh,
if you think about it, a lot of that's the reflection in the diamond plate. So it is a little weird. And if you hit the next one, Dave, because now we're going to get a different perspective of this shot. And now you can see it's a little different. It doesn't look quite as busy. It's all perspective. Bob O'Brien asks, how are they controlling the temperature for the radiant? And it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like it's just they've set it up as a single temperature system with the boiler making the temperature, just from what we can see here. Because we can see you've got your 007 boiler pumping into a header. All right. And there doesn't appear to be any additional water temperature control. So yeah, it looks like it's the boiler is setting the water temperature for the radiant, which, since it appears to be in a slab, I'm guessing it's going to be a pretty low water temperature.
Yeah,
that'd be 110, 120 degree range probably.
Yeah, and I'd have to take a look at the controls that you have built into the Aspen itself too, from US Boiler, that what you can do out of here. So they could have, and I'm starting to see a lot of boilers nowadays having different inputs on the boiler itself that can control those water temperatures too. So you do have some options. It not limited. I mean, it's not widespread, but you do have some control over what water temperature the boiler is going to make based upon the zones. So so these were some picks that we had shared last year. Unfortunately, I don't know enough of the details coming off of here and what we got going on.
Yeah, and Bob asked, what about the indirect? Well, the indirect's probably obviously is going to be a high temp fire, but since it's such a low water content boiler, when you switch over from high temp to low temp, is there a post purge? I don't know, probably. And how much really hot water is going to wind up going into the radiant? Probably not a lot. Again, for being such low content. So those are some of the quick answers that I can see based on your questions. But it's nice work. Now the manifolds, I got a question about manifolds. I mean, they're just straight copper manifolds, and I think you had a picture, or you were able to zoom in a little bit there, Dave.
Are they just T-drilled? Is that T-drilled?
I don't know if it's T-drilled or if it's a standard made header. If you look at the ones on the left, that looks like radiant floor. The ones on the right look like they're larger, looks like larger pipe, maybe feeding remote manifolds. I'm not sure. I just thought that the ratio is kind of hard to tell. But obviously, you see those isolation valves there. At this point, should you use a balancing manifold with shutoffs in the manifold? Without knowing the details of this job, being the nitpicky guy that I am, that's one of the things I would just throw a question out there. But since the guys from Trinidad aren't here to defend themselves, they can just go tell me to jump off a building.
And that was also one of the things that I took away from this picture myself. They had to do what they had to do because of the way the tubing came out of the slab, and they showed up and said, okay, here, make this work. Right. Maybe they did the slab work and ran the pipe. I don't know for that for sure. So that's why we see these long standoffs, that make it look confusing, because, hey, you got to make it match up to the PEX that's coming out of the slab. You're not changing the slab after it pours, right? After it cures. And I remember we used to say this all the time back in our early days, John, that it is always 100% faster, easier, and cheaper, to install tubing in concrete
before they pour the concrete. Yes, before they pour the concrete. You wait till after they pour the concrete, it becomes a much more difficult job.
Right. So you got to make it match. Maybe that wall ended up in a different spot compared to when they poured.
That was kind of my thought.
I'm going to say they probably try to get this as close to the wall as possible, and the wall went in, and it's just like, wow. So that's where you see this, so to speak, confusion. You got to do what you got to do to make the job work, man.
Looks great.
Right? You know what makes a major leaguer? The ability to hit the curveball. Right.
That's right.
Yeah. There's a curveball there. The guys hit it. I mean, that's you got to take your hats off to them. And speaking of curveballs, what about our next picture?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yes.
So, yes.
I might add something. Doesn't diamond plate just make everything look better?
I might get some diamond plate behind me. Think it could help?
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Maybe. It'd be really good diamond plate.
It is interesting putting diamond plate up on the walls. I run into that a lot here, meaning guys see the diamond plate onto job sites and they're like, there's no way I can get a customer to pay for that. Right.
Oh, heck yeah, you can.
It's interesting, right? You don't put that on the bill, you don't put that on the bill, or on the bid in the beginning and saying, hey, would you like to pay for diamond plate on this? You got to work it into the quote.
Yeah.
You're selling a system. Do you want the Ferrari or do you want the Ford?
Right. You want good, better, or exceptional?
Yeah. A lot of guys and gals will take the exceptional.
Yep.
That's why Ferrari makes Ferraris.
Right. But they won't if you don't ask them.
You got to ask them.
Yeah. And here's what's always interesting. I always like to bring this up to people too. When was the last time you saw pine cabinets go into a kitchen?
Yeah.
They hold the plates just as well as any exotic hardwood. right? The doors are going to close just the same, you know, so we never see pine cabinets. So it's when you do the diamond plate, then all of a sudden the customer, oh, now I know
Yeah.
why I'm
Mhm.
paying you this, right? So
I
it's
mean,
just
that's your hope, right?
exactly. So,
Yeah.
and if somebody says, I guess if a customer comes in and says, well, your price is a little too high, that's when you start eliminating things. You just don't go lowering the price. You eliminate things. All right, I can take this
James
away, I
House
can take that away. Yeah.
James House comments here. He's like, Dave, diamond plate is less cost than 3/4 plywood, and I would have to agree with that. Have you bought it? Have you bought a piece of 3/4 plywood lately? I mean, golly.
Yeah. And Bob says, let the customer spend their money. Hey, they
Yeah.
earned it. They'll make more. Don't worry about it. They'll make
Yep.
They
more.
want to give it to you, you should take it. Yep.
Yep. Dave, we got to get that next picture, man. I've been
Oh, yeah.
chomping at the bit. I love this. I love this
There's
picture.
that custom holder.
I love this picture.
Wow.
Opinions, folks, my friends out there in webinar land and in the ether. What do you think of this? What's your reaction when you see this picture? What is your gut reaction? I want to know. I want to know.
Now, I don't know where this photo came from. This has been sitting in my folder for a couple of years. I don't remember where I got it. Somebody sent this to me, and I was this just seemed like the perfect time to share it with people out there. So somebody did email this to me, and I have no idea who it came from. It's been sitting in my folder for a couple of years.
Let me add as a quick survey. You're the guy that did this. Be keelhauled. I'm sure, should there be some sort of hydronics penalty box that this guy has to sit in and think about what he's done? Is this bad? I guess, is this a bad thing? Was this guy bad and should he be publicly spanked for it? Or is he lazy? It's interesting. What do you think? I want to hear from you guys. We got Holdorf did it. Yes, that looks like that looks like your work, Dave. Frisbee says, didn't know a 007 had a built-in pipe clamp. Well, there you go. McGrath just says, sweet. Yeah. Let's take a look at the next picture. Maybe this will put it into some perspective because this is interesting. How the hell else was this guy going to do this job?
Yep.
Think about that.
And just, you know what? I've been staring at this picture for the last week and a half or so. And here's also something that I just noticed today. Actually, just 5 seconds ago. Look at that flange. That color is not typical Taco 007 color.
Oh yeah, it's the burnt umber, the orange one.
It's almost close to that Perfecta color.
Yeah.
Right? And there was a lot of components back in the day that were made with that machine green, as I like to call it. So this was not an original job site that ended up with this 007 cut away like that. So there was another circulator here. All right. And it's very interesting to think about this project because what if it was you? -4 degrees outside on a Saturday night and a no heat call. And you're on call and you're that relatively new guy working for the company and your job is to get the heat back on for this customer. And you know, you've been doing a lot of furnaces and whatnot. And now all of a sudden you walk, because every homeowner, when they call, when their system's not working, they all have furnaces. And you walk downstairs and you're looking at a boiler, right? So crap. Yeah. Now Bob is talking about some things, you know, spin the flanges, move the copper, but hey, it's -4 degrees on a Saturday night, right? And you're on call at 2 a.m. trying to get the heat back on. I am sure we've all done things on job sites that, hey, you got it working, you know, but is it the right way?
Well, if you think about it, what's on the other side? Looks like the water heater's there, right? That hunk of copper's in the way.
I think that's the boiler. This is the return side of the boiler.
Could be the boiler. Yep, you got your gas pipe right there.
Iron elbow going in. Yeah.
Spin the flange. Okay. I don't know about you, but when I see something that old and all of a sudden I got to try and take it apart, I know it's just not that part I'm taking apart.
Yeah.
This all of a sudden starts to become, this could very easily go sideways on you in a hurry where you're busting something and you wind up spending a lot more time and spending a lot more money than you need to get this thing on. I'm not saying this guy did it the right way or this is even a good idea. I'm just saying
yeah,
an innovative solution to a vexing problem. I think this isn't bad. Now, could he have turned the cartridge? Could he have taken apart 4 bolts and simply spun the motor so the wiring box is on top?
Yep.
Absolutely. If he knew he could do that. If he knew he could do that. Some guys don't know to do that, right? They just don't know to do it. Yeah, but I didn't say it was easy. No, it's not easy. Whatever you're doing here, I give the guy credit for being innovative and thinking outside the box. Actually, he might want to think about getting a little closer to the box, because this is like I don't.
There was instructions in there would have told you that you could turn the motor, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, but this guy just said, "Box? What box? What is this box of which you speak?" I don't know. I'll give him credit for a solution. And Dwight pointed out too, this has obviously been like this for a long time. If you look at the dust and everything, it's been like that for a long time and it's worked.
I'm sure it was hey, let's get this done now. I'll come back Monday and fix this.
And never did. Yeah, never
exactly.
Did. 500 bonus points for him, says Briz. Yeah.
Tail light, you give me the tail light warranty on that.
Yeah, and it's like it is what it is. It worked. Unless we were in that guy's shoes the day or night or whenever it was he was doing it, I try not to judge too much. At least he put the cover back on, and made sure it stayed there.
It's a nice ground. It's a nice ground.
Yeah. So anyway, there's always another side of the story, and that's why I love this picture. I'm glad you found it, Dave. That's a great shot.
Yeah, I had to use it finally, so yes. But it does it does tell a story when you really look at it and see what's going on there. Now, yes, we don't condone this, right? This is dangerous, having loose electricity.
Not a factory recommended installation.
Box, all this other stuff. No, we are not.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm so pleased I have a customer over here on YouTube who's made a comment. He's like, probably just didn't want to drain the system.
Heck yeah. Right.
That's the issue right there, man. I don't want to cut and drain the system. So good on you, Steve Martino.
100%.
No isolation flanges there. Yeah. He drained the system.
Yeah.
Right.
He drained the system. I've been scared to death. I would have been scared to death to twist that flange personally. That would have freaked me out. That would have freaked me out.
Any Teflon or dope that was on there, that would just crack away, and that was just going to be a constant weep. So therefore, a couple of years later, you'll see stalagmites and stalactites coming off this circulator. Definitely.
Yeah. Spin the head if he knew he could do that. If he knew he could do that. When I was an apprentice, nobody told me that was even a thing.
Right. So if those of you that haven't done it before, if you take out these 4 bolts right here, there's 2 more underneath the circulator, this whole motor will come off and hit the deck. Now, if you have water in the system, water's pouring out too at the same time. But you could rotate this and put the electrical box up here at the 12 o'clock position, or the 9 o'clock, or the 6 o'clock. But we don't like the 6 o'clock because we always like water above, electric above water. So you could have rotated to any other position here. And if you look at the 007Es series circulators, we have them with a universal flange set. So I would have used the universal here and just had the motor point out to the left here. And stay completely away from the pipe itself altogether. So another option you could do with that universal
quick
flange.
Question. Quick question. Sorry to interrupt you, Galbally. As like, if you did pull those bolts, spin it, would that electric box actually hit the bottom of that flange?
It gets close.
It really does look like it could hit.
Might be right. And if you went all the way around 180 degrees, are you going to be in the way of the gas pipe? You might have to go water over wire and learn to live with it if you could do that. Couple of questions. One comment on LinkedIn from Buddy Feltz is he says, "This is, quote, not my effing job." It's one way to look at it. And then Ron's got the best solution here of all. Should he use one of those 4-way double flange pumps that we have? Didn't have it probably back when this job was done. But the 007E, 0015E3, they got the 4-bolt flange, bada bing, bada boom. You put it in and you're out of the way. That would have been the way to go. Absolutely.
Yes, sirree. Yes. So very interesting when you start thinking of picks from the field out there. Yeah, we always like to see the diamond plate and the really pretty stuff, but hey, we can learn a lot from projects like this as well. So, and we've all done it before, I'm sure. We've all been there, all been
Not
there before.
me.
So, yeah. Yeah, but I'm sure you've written some really nasty code in the past, Christina. So
Oh yeah, it's always a semicolon, and I'm like, why doesn't this work? Yeah,
that's
it's
right.
always a
Yep.
semicolon. It's
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
nemesis.
Rich says water over wire would be better than this, but it's creative, innovative, creative. We like that.
It is.
Creativity isn't always the best idea, but it's got them out of a jam.
Idea.
Hey, a couple questions came in earlier. Are we moving on to that part?
We're done with picks from the field at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I want to go back to a couple questions that Bob asked earlier, and hopefully some of you guys can benefit from this. One of them was the PSC or the PSC regulations, mandates by May of 2020, end of May. I think it's end of May. Is it May 20 something? 2028. May 22nd, 2028. Manufacturers. Taco, Grundfos, B&G, Velo, whoever else makes pumps out there. Anybody who makes little circulators like this can no longer make AC or permanent split capacitor circulators. No more. We can't even have them in the building as of that day. They are being regulated or mandated out of existence in favor of circulators of greater efficiency. Now that's going to be ECM, but it doesn't necessarily have to be ECM. If next couple of years we come up with a nuclear powered circulator that's super efficient, we could sell it if we wanted to, because if it meets the standards. But what that means to you as contractors or wholesalers, what that means to you is very little. And it means basically the same thing that it meant when we went to 1.6 gallon flush toilets, or the same thing when we went to higher efficiency boilers or condenser units, air conditioning systems, furnaces, things like that. Any of those mandated changes. If the wholesaler still has a ton of 007s after May 22nd, 2020, he can sell them till he runs out. You can install them until you run out. No regulations there. We can't make any more. And actually, we can't have them in our building as of that date. So we're going to be phasing out over time. Our feeling is we're going to stick with AC as long as we can because there's such a huge market, and you guys love that. You guys are there, and we're going to make them and sell them for as long as we can. But at some point, that will have to phase out. So we'll be at some point. But late 2027, early 2028, at some point, the last 007 is going to come off our assembly line. And that's going to be a sad and historic day, I think, at TACO. It's going to be kind of a big deal when that happens. And we're transitioning now to greater ECM manufacturing. What is, Dave? We've got machinery in place for new lines already, right?
Going up by this year. Yeah, by end of this year, we'll have 2 new manufacturing lines for ECM. So we're setting up the first one right now, which I think will be up and running by heating season, and then we're going to be setting up the large ECM new assembly line as well, manufacturing line as well. So meaning outside of the 00, 15 and 18 size, now we jump up to our 26, 34 and larger manufacturing line will be set up hopefully by the end of the year itself. Yep.
Now, Buddy asks on LinkedIn, how's that going to work with 50 or 75 horsepower pump motors that need replacing? What's happening in 2028 is just small under 1 horsepower circulators. Right. We have had, the efficiency standards
already happened. Yeah.
Yeah. 1 horse and above already happened in 2020. Mm-hmm. All right. Now you got an old pump like that needs a new motor. We will have high efficiency motors available to replace those on TACO pumps, and there are other third-party pump motor manufacturers that can create parts and things like that. In fact, people ask about for 007s. Well, what if I need a part for a 007? I want to replace the cartridge. I don't want to replace the whole circulator. Can you sell me parts? No, we can't. We'll have parts for a reasonable amount of time, actually. So
warranty. Yep. We'll have stuff available for warranties.
Parts, not finished product. Parts. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got 3-year warranty, so we have to carry those parts for a bunch of years.
Right,
as
but
well.
that there's nothing to stop a third-party manufacturer from making parts, replacement parts on their own too. So
Right.
that's another possibility, and that's something that's going to happen. I think that's something that is going on with the larger horsepower pump motors too, there, buddy.
I do want to say right now that ECM is not what the mandate is. High efficiency is.
Right,
ECM
right.
is that vehicle that gets us there today.
That's the
So
technology.
when we did the 1 horse and above a few years ago, we had to meet a certain efficiency standard. It didn't mean that we had to be an ECM motor or anything like that. We just had to hit certain efficiency standards. And that's what we see with the new mandate coming out in 2028. You have a certain efficiency standard that you have to get to. ECM is that easy way for us to get there now. So that's what we're going to see in 2028. So definitely.
And I want to give a shout out to Jim Hillpiper
I
from
see
Southern
that. Yes.
Minnesota. I see you, Jim. How you doing, brother? It has been
You
way
paying attention
way
to the
too
Facebook
long.
page there too, JB?
I got my phone Facebook. I got my phone on Facebook. I got LinkedIn over here. I got. I'm just like multimedia guy. Okay,
I know.
right
I think you need
here.
to get like 4 more monitors in the room here. So
Yeah, and I figured out, and, if I can figure out how to get like Three Stooges reruns going over here, I think I'll be a fulfilled and
You're
happy
looking at
guy.
it right now. You're looking.
Well, that's yeah, right there you go. Yeah. Hey, dude,
Christina.
speaking of the Three Stooges, did you see that Curly's grandson, for the first time, got together with Moe's great-granddaughter and Shemp's great-granddaughter?
What?
And they kind of got together and they posted. They were at like a Three Stooges convention, and they posted a bunch of stuff on Facebook. It was wonderful. I mean, it brings the Stooges back home because my list of the 3 greatest Americans ever starts with George Washington, transitions to Abe Lincoln, and ends with Mo. All right. So it was just cool to see. Anyway, I don't know, how did we get on that tangent? Oh, the Three Stooges over here. And
That was you.
And,
3 of us.
and
Yeah.
Jim Hill,
3 of us.
and
Christina.
Jim Hillpiper kind of sent me off in that direction. Thank you, Jim.
Jim's
I appreciate that.
Thanks,
It's
Jim.
all Jim's
Thanks.
fault. It's all Jim's fault. And Bob asked one other question. This should be a good way to wrap this up for tonight. Bob asked another question. What are there any plans to make smaller circulators, because overpumping is a problem? And I agree wholeheartedly. Overpumping is the scourge of our industry. And I blame 3-speed pumps wholeheartedly. When 3-speed pumps came into the world, what were we told?
It's the only one you ever need.
The only pump you'll ever need. It doesn't have 1 speed. It doesn't have 2 speeds. It's got 3 freaking speeds, man. It does everything you could possibly imagine. Now you give someone I don't know how women deal with this, Christina, but you give a guy.
I don't personally, because I don't know
Yeah.
how to do any of this, but
You give a guy a pump that has 3 speeds. He's going to high speed every time.
I mean,
He
I
wants
want
to-
to.
Yeah, well, he wants to ram the water the hell through that pipe, kicking and screaming if it has to, whether it wants to go or not. So it just click, go to high, and let's get the hell out of here. It's contractor no callback mode. That's been that changed hydronics completely in the early 2000s, and not for the better. Not for the better. All right. Yeah, and Jim says, yeah, I knew this is where we were going. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. That's this and
Oh, don't
the
get them
pumping-
started with pressure differential bypass valves.
Oh, don't get me started with pressure differential bypass valves. You're gonna see a 65-year-old Italian explode right on screen, man. It's not gonna be pretty.
Is that the birthday number that you
That's
just?
That's the birthday.
I
Yes,
didn't want to
it is.
ask. I didn't want to ask.
I
You
didn't
didn't
either,
wanna-
but you dropped
Hey,
that.
I'm officially on Medicare, man, as of today.
Man, we're
congratulations.
gonna have to sing happy birthday. I think that's a really good intro right there.
Yes,
It's a
oh,
really
well,
good
there you
segue.
go.
Oh, there you go.
Except for
I
us.
I think
we
it's a
actually
great
have something
segue.
better. I think we
Birthday.
have something better, don't we, Dave? I don't know if I remember correctly, but there
No,
might be
that's right.
better on deck, right? Or something custom.
I was on a roll, and you guys just
We
what
sued
the
you,
hell?
is what we did.
John John B's in the house. It's a celebration. Pioneered the game, no hesitation. 4 years strong as the trainer on tour. Riding high, but keeps it pure. Green M&Ms in the room, that's class. Sparkling water, raise your glass. Early to bed, turn down the lights. Tour life legend, his future's bright. John B, John B, John B, it's your day, let it be.
What the hell did you get?
Fantastic. Straight from Canada. Thank you, Sean.
Oh, God help me.
You've got to send that out.
Yep. I'm in charge of this group. That just so all you folks out there know, I am the leader of this. Okay.
Except for
I
me.
can't believe we get
I'm
paid.
rogue.
Except for you. Yeah, you're
I'm
rogue.
rogue. Yeah, you have no control. You didn't know what I was like. I don't know if we want her on the show. What is
I
she gonna
take no responsibility for you, Christina, and I know you had a hand in this. Man. I'll tell you what.
I didn't know about this song till that came on, but I'm actually really excited that it happened. So
Yeah, you got to send that out to our inboxes, please.
Oh,
I
heck
think that's
yeah.
going on the
Oh, it's
podcast. That's got to go
God.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
100%, yes.
Well, anyway, overpumping bad. Okay, smaller pumps good. Problem is nobody will buy smaller pumps. All right. Nobody buys smaller pumps. We came out with a 005 that was smaller than a 007. It was priceless. Nobody bought it. Nobody bought it because it was priceless, but it doesn't do as much as a 007. I want more power, more power. That's the way of the world. The nice thing about ECM technology is we can turn it down, which is great. So if we can teach people to turn a pressure trawl on a steam boiler down, we can teach contractors to turn the speed on a variable speed circulator down to where it is. In fact, the answer, my friends, isn't blowing in the wind. The answer, my friends, is delta T control.
So to answer the question in one sentence, yes. Yes, we are. In one sentence, in one word, yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yes. So we'll see some new stuff coming out in 2026. Yes.
Why answer with a
waste
sentence
a
when a
perfectly
perfectly
good
good paragraph is sitting right there, man?
I concur.
Oh, we got Scott says that should be the opening theme song for the podcast.
Yes, absolutely. I'm on board with that. That's gonna happen now.
Oh my goodness. I think we gotta start wrapping this up now.
Yeah,
Please.
I think so.
I think Dave wants to have another cocktail.
You might have had too many already. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not done yet. Quick shout out to the 007, right? Celebrating 50 years this year.
50 years this year. Yep.
Yep.
Happy birthday to 007.
Yep, and happy birthday to John. So
Happy birthday, John.
Older than a circulator, yes.
I'm older than the 007. Thank you. Yes, I am.
And feel free, guys, to throw some stuff in the chat, things you want to see on future shows, what you want us to talk about, how you want us to talk about it, things that maybe we're not thinking of that would be impactful. Love to hear your thoughts on that. If you have further ideas that maybe the chat doesn't give us the opportunity to talk through, you can email marketing@tacoinc.com. Send those ideas over to the squad so we can kind of answer your questions and maybe make sure this content is actually relevant and what you want to see and help us grow this audience. We want to be here for you and support you, and this is another way that we do that. And we've got a great crew here, so utilize this live time with them as much as possible.
Yep. So this is not going to be every week like we've done with Takeaway After
No.
Dark in the past. It is going to be, we're looking at about 2 a month. It may not
Two
be
Wednesdays a month. Yep.
consecutive. Yeah, it's not going to be consecutive. We're still going to keep the Wednesdays, 7 p.m. like we've always done.
Mhm.
But it's not going to be every week because the 4 of us, we're on the road and we've got a lot of stuff going on. So we're trying to make sure we get that scheduling in there correctly.
Yeah, so just check our socials. As Dave said, we're going to do 2 Wednesdays a month. That's the cadence. It's just 2
Yep.
Wednesdays. We don't know what they are. It'll be a surprise to us too and to you, but check our socials, follow, and you'll see it when you see that go live online. Just jump on, follow, watch us, talk to us.
So with
Nice.
that being said, so where the heck are we going to be as we end up this session here? So where in the world are the 3 of us going to be? I know Christina most of the time is in Rhode Island.
That's it.
But when you start looking at the 3 of us out on the road, Jason, my man, Jason,
Nice.
we
Perfect
saw
for
the
AI.
uncanniness in this photo, so we had to put the 2 together. They're just too similar looking. Yes. So we're
I'll take that as a compliment.
yeah, where the J-Man is in the West Coast. So if you guys are out there, if you're in any of this neck of the woods, Jason, you know what? I'm going to let you talk on this one.
Yeah. I'll rifle through this really quick. The August 12th, Shamrock Sales in Colorado. We're doing a blended contractor and wholesale training. Get with your favorite wholesaler and get with Shamrock Sales because there are seats still available. The 13th, August 13th, it's just up the road at the at Wind Supply's distribution center in Denver, Colorado, and that's open to all Wind Supply customers and Wind Supply employees. And then the 14th, that same August 14th, I'll be in Colorado Springs. Location to be determined. We should have that ironed out this week. And then just the week after that, August 19th, Draper, Utah, nuts and bolts hydronics training, which is basically Salt Lake City. The 20th, I'll be in Jackson Hole at the convention center, and that's going to be a big one. There's over 100 attendees so far. We're maybe looking at 150. And then August 21st, Idaho Falls at the Holiday Inn Suites, nuts to bolts hydronics training. And I'll bait with this. Watch out, my Canadian brethren, because I'm coming for you the week after that.
Oh,
Nice.
all
Very
right.
nice. Very nice.
All
Yes.
right.
All right, let's see what's next. What do we got out there? Me, where am I going to be? I've got a couple of different places, and you know what, JB, I changed it last minute. I had to go with the Prince of Darkness here.
That's all right. That is your new nickname, Dave. You.
Prince of the Darkness here for Takeo After Dark. That's right. So next week, I am going to be in Tampa, Florida at the Plumbing Hacks Conference. So for those of you that are heading down to Tampa, Florida next week, I will be there. I also have a training class going on as well as the trade show. It's a really good time. If you haven't been, Plumbing Hacks, if you haven't been on Plumbing Hacks, take a look. They're on Facebook. They've got this Facebook group out there, and it is a huge group of people. A lot of great guys out there, and girls as well, in the industry involved. And this conference is just it takes it to the different level. All right. So where we are really trying to learn from each other out there. So that's where I'm going to be next week, where I will also do this class live.
Oh, baby.
From the Takeo table.
Ooh.
Yes. So we are going to do Takeo After Dark live. I will be there hosting it from there, and John and Jason, wherever you guys are going to be located next week. So we will do this class. We will not class, but we will do our next episode next Wednesday as well.
Live from Tampa. Live from the beach.
Live from Tampa. Yes.
Do they
live
always
from
do it in Tampa,
/ New
Dave?
Hampshire, / California / Rhode
They
Island.
do.
Yeah, technically,
And-
it's St. Pete Beach.
St. Pete Beach. That's correct. Yes. And then my next training session that I've got going on, I'm going to do the Hydronic Symposium with a wholesaler, Famous Supply in Ohio. That's going to be on the 26th. I've actually got 6 hours of training class, 6 one-hour sessions that we're doing there. So we're calling it a mini Takeo After Dark out there with Famous Supply. So if you're in the Ohio market anywhere out that neck of the woods, come on by. Love to have you there. So.
Awesome.
And last but not least, JB, because he can be wherever the heck he wants.
It's good to be the king, right? It's good,
Good to be the king. That's
It's
right.
Good to be the king. Yeah. My next few weeks are going to be pretty interesting. I've got to go down to Cranston for a couple of day-long meetings. That's what we management types have to do, and we love it. So, but I will be teaching a trade school group from MTTI. From Massachusetts. They're coming into the facility in Cranston on August 5th. August 22nd is a big day for me. I'm going to be the father of the bride. My daughter Genevieve is getting married. That's a Friday night in beautiful Chicago, and I get to give the bride away. And much to the chagrin of the rest of my family, I'm going to insist on wearing a black tux and go full, Don Corleone, because on the day of my daughter's wedding, no Italian can deny a favor, right? So I'll be taking guests, and you can ask for things, and that's it is the way it is, So I'm very excited about this. I've been working on a speech for 34 years, ever since she was born, and I still don't have it right. So I will come up with something. But I get to give her away to a fine young man named Jeff, and we're very excited about that.
Awesome.
And then thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then the following week is is FW Web from Albany. The FW Web group from Albany is bringing a bunch of contractors down to the facility, and I'll be working with them on August 26th and 27th. So we're really excited about that. So there we go.
Excellent. Excellent. Wow, we got a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
And it's summertime too. So that's why when when we
Yeah.
look at our calendars and we see some spreads in between, yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Summer's not necessarily hydronics world. So yep.
And Jerry
And
Williams.
Like I said, next week we are going to be presenting live from Plumbing Hacks. Of course, Bruce Campbell. We can never forget our patron saint of hydronics,
There
Mr.
you
Bruce
go.
Campbell.
The coolest man in Hollywood. Hey, can I interrupt real quick? I answered Jerry Williams' question to Bernard Bennett. So Jerry's still hanging out there for a answer to a question. Real quick, if I had a 20-gallon 2-pipe buffer tank to a system, do I have to account for that capacity in my calculation for an expansion tank? Yeah, you do, because it's
I saw that,
system water.
JB. So I
Yeah.
answered it to him. Yeah, as well.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. Right, thank you. You just did. So shutting up. All right, good.
That's all right. That's all right. So yes, Jerry, excellent question. Like I said, there's no such thing as bad questions out there, especially in the world of hydronics out there. Somebody did also ask, Bernard also asked about the Taco Bumblebee. So the Bumblebee we manufactured from 2011 to 2013, maybe 2 years time. It did get replaced with the VT2218. So the technology that we had in the Bumblebee moved over to the 2218. Next year, you'll see some really cool stuff also coming out from us as well.
New Delta T, baby. Boy. And just to piggyback real quick, Jim Hill Piper said, unfortunately, sizing a replacement circulator takes too much time, which is again another reason why we have overpumping. And again, Delta T, baby. Delta T solves it. Delta T is as close as you're going to come, my friends, to a self-sizing circulator. It's as close as you're going to have, and that to me, that is just awesome, and that's going to be a game changer. The new setup is going to be a game changer, and I'm very excited about it. Come on, 2026, man, let's go.
I'm sorry, I was just reading a note from Rich. Make sure the groom knows it's not a load.
It's not a loan yet. No returns. No.
Dwight, excellent, man. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. This was a lot of fun. I know we went a little bit longer. But hey, that's what it's going to be. That's what Takeaway After Dark is, man. It's no rules, man. It's after dark.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
You got the four of us together. Holy crap. I'm surprised anything gets done some days.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, hey,
out there for everybody, this was a lot of fun. This was a lot.
Great job, Dave. Great job leading the crew.
Excellent.
This was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to next week. And getting down to the Plumbing Hacks and doing this again. We'll probably you never know what's going to happen down there in some of the guests. I am going to try to have some guests come in, join me on there. I don't know who they are just yet. It's going to be the next guy that walks by with a beer and say, hey, why don't you sit down with me for a few minutes? So you never know. It could be a quite interesting event.
It could be a waiter,
It could be. So I had a lot of fun tonight, man, and I do have to say, without the three of you all here with me as well, this was never happened, right? So a lot of work has gone into this from everybody here. Christina has been amazing. Dare I say, our producer that keeps us in line. All right. I don't know if she wants that title or not, but she got it tonight.
I do.
So,
I want to get a whip as well. But
you need a whip. Okay.
Okay then.
for all of you, keep you in line.
That's a different
Not
podcast.
for your choker, but yeah.
The shots keep getting fired.
That's
Yes,
I'm good at the
indeed.
shots. That's what I'm here
There
for.
you go.
Yes, and Jason, John, it's been a lot of fun, man. So thanks for this. This is really cool, and we got to keep this going. And
New
I do
life,
wanna thank
baby.
everybody for joining us, man.
Fun.
This was a lot of fun tonight. So
And thank you guys for letting me on the show. I appreciate it. Absolutely.
Our pleasure.
Appreciate
Our
you,
pleasure.
Christine, and all the help you gave us, man. That was awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is the way to do it for sure. It's more collaborative. I like this.
Cool. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Here's
Enjoy
everyone. Happy
everyone.
birthday,
Thank
John.
Happy
Appreciate
birthday,
it.
John.
Thank
see
you.
you guys
Thank
all
you.
next week.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
See you next week.